Three, two, one.
Welcome back to another episode of Insights with Vinnie Mac. My name is Vince, aka Vinnie Mac. Today we're speaking about a very powerful principle that will really help you get that breakthrough in terms of any challenge that you are facing right now. It doesn't get spoken of that often because it is very misunderstood, and it is because it is in such plain sight in the Bible that so many people actually miss it. We'll actually be looking by two people that actually employed this particular principle, one being Daniel, the other being Jesus himself. And this is something that the coaching, the self-development sphere doesn't really grasp all that well. They do have a different aspect and a different take, and we will visit it likely as well. But I want to bring on this particular insight more of a godly perspective in terms of how this principle actually helps you work through the challenges, work through the difficulties, and get you to the next level. You need to understand it and you need to apply it in your life, but that's the beauty of it. It is such a simplistic principle, but because of the times and the mindsets that we live with and the times that we live in, we cannot practice this particular principle because we live in a world of instant gratification, and that is the killer right there. So watch this particular insight and then catch the truth that is being shared behind this insight and apply it to your own life, and watch changes happen in your life. Watch you have breakthroughs in your life. Alright, before we dive into that though, I just want to remind you that if you are visiting here for the first time, or if you haven't yet, by all means, please do subscribe to the channel, like the content, drop me a feedback. Would love to hear from you, would love to engage with you. On this channel, I do share with you insights from both a godly perspective as well as a life coaching perspective, bringing the two together to give you the best of both worlds. Okay, so we're looking at a powerful principle that is just so majorly overlooked because it is so obvious. And people don't understand this principle, and therefore they do not apply this principle in their lives. Like I said, we'll be looking at two figures in the Bible, both Daniel and Jesus. But before we do that, I just want to read for you a caption from the Bible, and it's found in the book of Lamentations, in Lamentations 3 verse 25 to 26. And it goes like this. It says, "The Lord is good to those who depend on Him, to those who search for Him. So it is good to wait quietly for salvation from the Lord." That is exactly what we are speaking about today. See, we live in this world of instant gratification, where everything needs to happen right now. The reasoning mind does not want to wait. It does not understand the concept and the principle of waiting. But that's because the world itself has contorted twisted the meaning of that word wait. We've given it such a wishy-washy understanding or interpretation that we don't truly grasp what it means to actually wait. Waiting means having this firm confidence that that which you are hoping for is coming to pass. I remember in the good old days when I was just like dating still on high school. Back then we had the telephones and we had the letters. That was our Instagram, that was our social media, that is how we connected with one another. And I remember the times when I used to write letters to that special person and, going to the post office, putting those letters in the post box, counting down the days when they would take the letters out of the post box, sort it through the mail, forward it through to the post box or to the post office in the city or town where I expected the letter to go to. That particular post office, sorting through that mail, and then from there moving into their outbox and then taking it to the post boxes of the different recipients. It always used to be a period of 3, 4, 5 days, And afterwards I became so good at it that I could estimate and understand exactly when my letter would arrive there, how long it would take for that person to write back and their letter to get back to me. There used to be that belief, that expectation that when I sent out a letter, I would get an answer back. And there was always this enthusiasm, this excitement about it. That is what waiting on the Lord actually is when you are making a request to God and you're saying, this is my heart, this is my expectation, this is what I'm hoping for. And you have that belief, that trust, that confidence inside of you that that which you ask for is already coming back to you. Now please understand and know that yes, it always has to be in line with God's will, because God has made plans and purposes for our lives. So yes, whenever we ask, we need to understand and expect that it needs to be aligned with His will. But even when we're not aligned with His will, God always has this way of taking our request, and if it's not aligned with His will, to just take it to another level and just take us and elevate us to provide us with so much bigger and so much better than what we asked or hoped for in any case. And that is what the beauty of waiting on the Lord actually comes down to. Okay, so how do you wait upon the Lord? Well, The answer to that is found in two different books, one in the Old Testament, one in the New Testament. And I really love the approach by both of these gentlemen in terms of stress, strain, anxiety. And there's another story in the New Testament as well, and we're going to touch on that as well, in terms of waiting upon the Lord. You see, in the book of Daniel got thrown into the lion's den. And this was because haters were hating on him, and he was finding favor with the king, and they just couldn't stand it. Sounds very familiar, right? In our modern times, we also experience similar circumstances to that, in terms of our work situation, in terms of our family, where others just can't stand the fact that we are excelling, that we're getting favor, that we're stealing their limelight. So they hate on us, and they look for ways to trip us up. So these guys looked for ways to trip Daniel up, and they had him thrown in the lion's den. Jesus, on the other hand, was in the boat on the Sea of Galilee, just resting after a long sermon, and a storm started raging up. The disciples started freaking out because they didn't know what to do in the storm, and they thought they're going to die. But here's Jesus fast asleep. I bet you he was actually snoring there, because that is how they realized in the midst of the storm that this guy is actually sleeping. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, you see, what we taught in these two stories is that when you are in the middle of the storm, when you are in the middle of the chaos, and you have absolutely no idea what to do, wait upon the Lord. Cast your burdens unto Jesus, and then wait upon Him. He will come through for you. See, Jesus had the comfort and the faith and the belief to know that the boat will not capsize in the storm. Daniel had the confidence, the faith, and the belief that the lion's mouths are shut as he is sleeping in the lion's den. That is what waiting upon the Lord actually comes down to. Having that understanding, that belief, that no matter how bad the situation around you is, that God is already in the situation and He's already provided the solution for you. That is the beauty of waiting upon the Lord. Look at the Apostle Paul when he was thrown into the prison, shackled in chains. What were they doing? Was it him and Barnabas or him and Silas? I get confused with that. But in any event, what were they doing? They were singing praise and worship songs in the middle of the night. And, they shackled to the wall in a situation that just seems like there's no way out for them. And the presence at that period in time was extremely horrible. It was horrible conditions that they found themselves in. But these guys are waiting on the Lord. They're singing praise and worship. So what does waiting on the Lord basically come down to? It comes down to a simple coaching principle. It is shifting your beliefs, shifting your thoughts off the problem and trusting in a bigger reality, trusting that, that there is an answer for you, that there is a solution for you. But you need to have the faith, the belief, and the trust and the confidence, not to go and meddle with it, but let it be. Trust that you've handed it over. Now you're moving in a different direction, and you're taking care of business that needs to be taken care of, knowing that your request is being handled. That is the power of waiting on the Lord. And I'm telling you, when you tap into that power, you are tapping into breakthroughs, phenomenal breakthroughs that come in ways that you cannot explain, ways that you cannot understand, ways that you cannot fathom, and they come in bigger, better, and faster than what you could have ever anticipated if you had tried to do it on your own. So I'm telling you today, please, if you want to experience breakthrough in your life, if you want to see phenomenal changes happening in your life, learn to wait upon the Lord. Don't be like the donkey in Shrek, please. And it's not like I'm throwing Donkey under the bus either, because he's my favorite character in the Shrek series. Alright, I hope that you got value from this particular insight. I hope that it shifted your perspective in terms of what waiting actually means, right? And I hope that you're going to go out there and just learn to trust. Put your faith in God, put all your eggs into that basket, and watch that basket, because that is part of waiting on the Lord. So remember to stay in gratitude when you've asked for something of the Lord, and just keep saying thank you. That is another way of just waiting upon the Lord as well. You might not see the breakthrough, but trust me, the breakthrough is already happening. And the angel said to Daniel, from the time that you opened up your mouth to pray, I was already on my way with the answer to you. And because you stayed persistent, because you kept praying, I was able to get the breakthrough. So keep waiting on the Lord, stay in prayer, stay in belief, and trust that what you've asked for is yours already. Okay, I hope that you got value from this insight. I hope that you've taken a board and that you will apply this to your life, and that you will start waiting on the Lord with patience, with expectation, and with a belief that what you've asked for is yours already. I would love to hear your feedback, your insights, your thoughts with regards to this. So by all means, drop me your comments, like the content, and like I said, if you haven't yet, by all means, do subscribe to the channel. For now, this is Bunny Mac saying change your thinking, change your world.